Remanufacturing is very simple. It's taking products that have been used by the consumer and restoring them to the same quality standards and performance standards as their new counterpart. The fear is that what we mean by cannibalization is that the remanufactured product will steal the sale of a new product. Everybody's product lines, to a certain extent, cannibalize. One item cannibalizes another. If you look at all the Hewlett-Packard printers there are out there are dozens of varieties. Does Hewlett-Packard care if the LaserJet printer that they just introduced cannibalizes an inkjet sales? No. What they want is a portfolio that leads to higher profits for the company. That's really what we should be asking is, does a product portfolio that includes remanufactured products lead to higher profitability than a portfolio that doesn't? And that's a fairly difficult question to get at, but we think we're making some progress. This belief by the part of marketing and sales that remanufacturing is bad, it takes away sales of a new product, is intriguing because it's problematic. It actually creates a roadblock from companies making money off these products. So they're often tempted to either ignore it or maybe try to think about, maybe what they really do is just ignore the problem to a large extent. So they don't make money when they could. If you think of customers very simply, that there are two basic types. There are people who value newness. The product has to be new because that means it's got all the attributes that I want, and I don't want somebody's used stuff. And there are customers that are functional. Functional customers want the service that the product delivers to them. If I think about these customers existing in two classes with some overlap, then the customers that are very, very functionally oriented will look for a remanufactured version of a name brand product. So there's a brand equity issue that comes up here. If you have high brand equity, you can leverage this with your remanufactured products. If I have a high amount of brand equity, I often ignore the lower end of the market completely. If I've got a remanufactured product, it's priced very aggressively and very low, and it may enable me to reach a customer segment that I couldn't address earlier because of my pricing policy. So you may actually be able to help your company by blocking inexpensive competition from coming in and starting to erode the bottom end of your market out. The best case is that you find a way to find a channel and customers who you would have never reached before. You expand your market share and you've gotten the right channel, you've got the right pricing, and you reach a whole group of customers that you would have never reached before. The worst case is when somebody gets your product, does a bad job remanufacturing it, people get it, buy it, they're very unhappy with the brand name, it damages you. At least even if you're selling your own product remanufactured, and maybe it does occasionally, because of pricing sensitivity, take a customer out of new, it's going to do you less damage than letting a third party do it, plus you don't have the potential damage to your brand name and the equity issues and the other stuff. Intellectual property, somebody else getting a hold of your product's not a good idea. These are the things that losing control or pretending it's not happening isn't going to make it go away. And you need to deal with it in a very straightforward fashion and discover these channels and these pricing points that allow us to use this in a win-win type of situation. The biggest problem I see is that the consumer market is moving more and more toward not only one-shot designs, but planned obsolescence, disposable one-shot designs. It's very difficult because we have to change people's perceptions and the way that we consume. And I'm not advocating that people become austere or have to suffer. I think we can build a win-win economy, but we have to learn the lessons that we've learned from these big equipment manufacturers with high residual value, long life cycles, that there are different pathways to making things. And that's one of the transitions we're hoping to be able to point to companies and say, you've got this platform that exists for these big business-to-business type of goods. What can we leverage in these platforms and consumer goods, and how can we move that forward into a different business model that's more about selling the service that the product delivers rather than the product itself? In the end, we're going to have to look at going back to the beginning. We have to really do that because there is no shortcut. If we don't think about this now and start moving toward it, it's going to be very difficult to transition in a short period of time.